slowly changing dimensions. So this tool is used for incremental variability. Now, what is incremental? Say, for example, this SSIS, what we are doing, we are getting the data from the source to destination. Now, for example, in the first day of data loading, we have around say you know 100 record in the source table, and the same thing is transferred to the destination. In the destination, we have 100, also 100 records. Now, in the first day, 100 record transferred. The second day, what happens? Out of that 100 record, no new record is added. Few records, few data of that 100 record is edited or updated. Okay. So now, in the same day, we are not going to take the entire set of data. We will only update those particular updated record, and we will also maintain the log of this updation. That, say, if you just take a aggregated load, say from the source table, you will again take this 100 record and replace in the destination. So you will not have any clue that what was the record there earlier and what we have updated so far. Okay, so in that way, this is the solution. Slowly changing dimension is a solution which will update the new record. I mean, if there is any updation, it will insert a new record, and the existing record which was there in the destination, that would be modified, or that would be separated with the identifier. Okay, so let me just take it to the example. Say we have a customer table. I have a customer table in the SQL Server. So in the customer table, we have customer code, which is the primary key, which uniquely identifies each customer. We have customer name. We have customer city, state, and country. So these all informations are there in the source table. And every day the job runs, and this data going to the destination table. Sometimes what happen, one customer remains same, but it's.
Amit, are you able to hear me? Hello?
I can hear you pretty well.
Amit, I'm unable to see your screen is so slow and you are telling some other topic.
Is it good now?
It's showing SSMS screen. Is that what you opened?
SQL Server.
Yeah, SQL Server.
Okay. So we have this order table over here.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
customer table. Customer master. Okay, now there are 40 records in this table.
Okay.
Okay, you can see customer code, which is a primary key, customer name. It can be duplicated also. The customer code will be unique. Country of the customer, state of the customer, and city of the customer. These are all the other attributes of the customers. Now, what happens? Say, for example, this is Amit Enterprise is a customer. Data, transfer is going on every day. So one day, what happened? This particular customer, Amit Enterprise, this customer will change. In the destination, I want to track. I want to keep track on every updation of the record. I want to maintain a history that this is the Amit Enterprise. Now the country is Slovakia, state is Maine, and city is Halep. Later on, the city of this customer may be changed, and it may be something around something like say Torrance. So in that case, in the destination table, this record will exist. This record will exist as a old record. However, the record which is updated, that would be additionally inserted, so that you can keep track of this particular updation, that how many times this record is updated in the source system.
Okay.
Makes sense? And the latest record, which is current one, the finally updated, that would be identified as a flag, as one. Another old customer, these particular customers, the country, the state, the city has been updated later on, that would be identified as zero, and they have created an updated date. So when you create a incremental load, always you should have a record in the table that is created date and incremental date. I mean updated date. Okay. Or enter date and expire date. Those kind of date identifier you should have. When this customer will be updated, that will be another record which will be inserted with a created date as so and so. When this record will be obsolete and another record will be inserted, that would be the updated date would be entered. Same customer the information in the first record. So, now this is a source. So I'll just send a destination for it. For destination, slowly changing dimension means this particular data is going to a dimension table, right? So in that dimension table, I should have a unique identity or unique ID. See, this is the ID, and some other information. ID one, city, city. Now in the destination table, we have to maintain this kind of structure. With the incremental data. So firstly, this particular customer, okay, has fetched this particular table with this information. ID is one, stated ID, the system rate. ID, okay, updated ID is blank, and it is one. So next day, the data will be replaced. The same data will be there. What will happen? Again, the same data will be coming and replacing other created entity. Okay. If this same day, the next day, if the data is not changing, the same record will be updated and the date would be 19, 16, and this active. So the third day, if the data will be updated, say Amit Enterprise, the city is say um, something like this. Okay. So in that case, this particular record will be not updated. It will not be updated on this, because if it will be updated, this particular record will be missed. Like what was the earlier city of this particular customer, you cannot get any chance to retrieve it. So if there will be any changes in this way, it would be created a new record with this, and created date would be this, and updated date would be and this should be 0 and this should be 1. Make sense? What happened in the second day? In this particular table, we have this city has been changed. So every change, another separate record has been inserted, and you may have lot of updation on the same customer. In that case, you will have one. Whenever your active status is one, you can consider this is the latest record. However, all the other records are past records. So in the third day, what will happen? Third day, the speed of the customer will change.
Okay.
What will happen? Another record will be created. And it will be 0, and this time 1.
Amit, every time this created and updated dates are same?
No, I'm just giving an example. Say it is 17. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is 17. So usually when your data would be coming, the created data will be 17. It would be blank. When the next day you find that this particular information is updated, so it would not replace on this particular record. It would keep this record as it is. It will create another copy of it and maintain the history. So let's say it is 18. And
Okay.
created date of this past record will be filled as 18. The active status of the past record, which was earlier was 1, it will be turned to 0, and then it will be 1. And the third day, when this particular record will be updated with something else, this becomes 19, and the updated date is become 19. It will be 0, and the final record will be 1. So out of the list of all the customers, which is same, you can find the customer is latest updated record is this one, because of this status is 1. Since it is very useful method to create an incremental load. When you make an increment, the record will not replace. If there would be any changes, if it is a completely new record, then it would be inserted. But if it is there is any updation on this particular record, then it would be another record. However, this is one method of this slowly changing dimension. But if you mention that it is a changeable field, it is a changeable attribute, in that case, say for example, Amit Enterprise, PVT, Amit Enterprise Private Limited. So in that case, we can mention this particular column as changeable column, and if you mention all these columns are historical column. So if it is changeable column, then this should be simply in the next row, it will be simply replace on this. Okay. However, rest of other information will be same, because I just mentioned this as a changeable column.
Okay.
And another, there are 3 different methods. First is pick column, pick attribute. If there is pick attribute, if there are any changes to pick attribute, then it is going to show you error. Data will not be inserted. Second method is if changeable attribute. If it is changed in the source, the destination will be replaced with the source. And the third one is historical. If it is changed in the source, anything changed in the source, it will update the existing record with the created updated active status will make to 0, and another record will be inserted with the status and 1. Okay. So then you can better keep track that this particular customer has been updated this many times. Clear?
Yeah.
So let's move on to the table. So I have this particular table. I am going to create another table. This same guy is copying the database. This customer master, I'll simply create this table. This goes to the customer master and the definition I will create. This is again this I will create customer master. Next to it. Here. Okay. Like this. Now here,
Amit, there's a lot of disturbance in your voice.
I'm sorry.
There is lot of disturbance with your voice.
Okay, give me a moment. Is it good now?
Yeah, it's good, Amit.
Okay. I'm finding a lot of disturbance from your end as well. You can just mute. In case of anything
Yeah,
asking, you can just unmute.
sure, Amit.
So I'm going to create a table for this in the destination to create an incremental load. So I created a table in the Nikita TWH called TBL customer master DST destination. So this one is the table. I'm going to add few more fields over that table. I will insert a ID. Customer ID, which should be identity column, and I want this would be a primary key of this table. Okay, and over here I will create a created date. Date time. The data type should be date time. And so this is the table structure. I'm going to save it. I can see in this table there is no record over here. In this table, customer ID is a unique key. This customer code is the business key, which uniquely identify each record. And customer name, country, city, state, and these are all the additional column I use to create a historical data loading by using incremental load. So let's go to this slowly changing dimension. I'm going to create a package called SDC4, slowly changing dimension package 4. Alright, so over here I need a data flow task and I want a source, OLEDB source. The table name is going to be the customer master. From here in this table, let me just first configure the connection string, and here is a table customer master. I can see this field customer code, name, city, country, and state. So from this table this is a master table. I will just take this information to the dimension table, which is the trivial customer master destination. Okay. Now over here I will use a slowly changing dimension. So all the common components transformations are finished, and this is the last control. By finishing this, we'll start the analytic service SSAS. Okay. So I can simply drag this to slowly changing dimension, and this will be the destination. This should be targeted to the destination database. Over here, just go next, and it is asking to give me the connection manager, so I can define it as Nikita DWH as a connection manager, and the table which I need is customer master destination. So the table which I just created is customer master destination. Now you see, it is intelligent enough to find out to segregate your fields. Okay. Now you cannot see the ID, customer ID over here, because this is the primary key of that particular record, so it is not showing over here. It is asking to at least give one business key need to be selected. So what is business key? Business key is something like, employee ID. Employee ID cannot be a unique, employee ID cannot be a primary key of this table, or say the auto ID, auto increment ID of the table. Employee ID is a business key which uniquely identify a record, which necessarily does not mean that it should be always a primary key. So here customer code is a business key. Okay, you have to choose a business key over here. One business key is suffice. Now we had in the source, we had city, country, customer code, customer name and state. While in the destination, we have in the dimension columns city, country, created date, customer code, name, active status, state and updated date. What about this ID, customer ID? It is automatically chosen this as a primary key, whereas it needs a business key in the explicit selection. So I have selected as a business key. Now next, move on to the screen. Here we need to think of, it is something to understand over here, that what is a fixed attribute, what is a changing attribute, and what is a historical attribute. I just told in the Excel that I have three different type of data over here. Okay, so I'm just going to consider this customer name as a fixed attribute. This particular three columns has a changing this should be as a changing attribute. If this in the source the customer name would be changed, no matter, doesn't no issue. So in the destination the customer name will also be changed. It would simply replace the customer name. It will not keep the track or keep the log of it. But I will just consider these three as a historical attribute. In that case, if there is any changes to the source, then it would create another record, not by updating the source. Say from Slovakia, if the country is changing to Czechoslovakia, in that case Czechoslovakia would not be updated on Slovakia. It would be creating another record, say 4, and this will be same, this should be same, okay, and rest of all these attributes should be same. The only thing will be changed is, say today is 20th, this should be updated, and this should be 0, and this should be 1. That means this particular information has been changed 4 times. This is a common this is a changing attribute, so doesn't require every changing. These are all the historical attributes. So in case of any changes, it would be created another record with the identifier on the latest record. However, other records will be identified as 0. and when did it expire or updated, this information will be also mentioned in the date. So this is a crucial operation. It is very difficult to map it through any programming. However, through MSBI, you can easily manage it. So I will define over here that what should be my changing attribute. Customer name, say I'm just making as customer name as changing attribute. See, so though I have given the customer code as business key, so business key cannot be updated. This should be always fixed. Against the business key, all the other information will be updated. Okay. Now the customer name, so fixed attribute will not be there any in this table. Okay. Fixed attribute means select this type when the value in a source should not be changed. Changed, treated as an error. Okay. So any in any of this table, this particular information will not be changed. Say if you are updating a customer email address and mobile number, or an email address and PAN number should not be changed at all. In that case, you can define customer email address as a fixed attribute. It should not be changed. In case, even if in a source there is a change in the database, but in the destination it will not allow you to change. So I want all this information to be changed. So customer name should be a changing attribute. Another three informations you can see: city, country and state should be historical attribute. Changing to this any of this demography informations will enter another record, keeping track of the old record as well. So I'll start from country is a historical attribute. State is a historical attribute. City is a historical attribute. I'm not giving any attribute as a fixed attribute. Say email address, PAN number, passport number, etc. should not be changed at all. So those kind of attribute is not there, so I'm not keeping anything as a fix. So all these will be changed. Okay, next. So far clear? We will go to next. So go next. Change all the matching record including outdated records. Choose this option. Go next. Over here, use a single column to show current and expire record. So here you can define that which particular column to be treated as a current record and expired record based on which particular key field. You can define this particular key field is active, can be treated as a this column. So this will be automatically updating this particular column, defining that which is a latest record and which is the old record. So here you can define is active is automatically being available here. Okay, I've added. Why not other fields were there? Because date fields will not be shown in the changing attributes. Is active column has been chosen because this will be treated as a okay. So I've chosen this one, and when value when current. So what would be the value of this particular is active? If it is a current record, it should be true, and if it is an expired record, it should be false. Okay, automatically it is being defined. You can either mention true false, or also you can also mention current and expire. Because it is a boolean type of data, I have to give true and false, right? I cannot mention current and expire, because if is active column would have been a string type of data or character type of data, I would have given this as current record and this as expired record. Here it is a boolean type of data, so that's why I have to give the current value is true and expired value is false. and go next. Use boolean column, sorry, let it be, enable inform member support, and then next, finish. So when you do finish, it will automatically generate the entire skeleton of the dimensions. Okay, so everything has been configured through that console. I've not drag and drop anything. Okay, so it is very interesting. Now let's do the use case studies. So set this as a startup object. Let's start the case studies. So first I will do what? I will execute the start button to see in the destination how many records are there. Oh, it is not being executed so far, it is just validating. So all these transformations are automatically executed. Now in the source we had 40 records and the destination we have 40 records. I have not changed anything over here because it is a first data transfer. In the second time I will do a changes. Okay, so let's execute it. How many records are there? 40 in the destination. Auto ID is automatically inserted. Created date, updated date is blank now. Okay, and this particular column is active. That means these are all the individual unique records. These are all active. So now we have Amit Enterprise. I just defined this Amit Enterprise, this particular customer name as changing attribute. So if I'll do the changes in this particular attribute, it will simply replace the column. I mean, it will update the column and keep all the others are same. So let's see in the customer source. I have to go to source over here, customer master. I'll simply edit this one. Here in the source, I will do Amit Enterprise Private Limited. Okay. So I will run this, execute this once again. Let's see how many records are coming. Same 40 records will come. Okay, executed. Now let's go to the destination. In the destination table, we will see how many records. Same 40 records. And you see this particular record is being updated. Okay, this particular record is being updated. But if you do a normal data loading process, first day it will be 40, second day it will be 80, third day it would be 120. But this is a incremental load. It will only fetch the updated record or the newly inserted record. Okay, it will only push the updated or inserted record. It will not push the entire set of data again to the database, destination database. Okay, now this is being updated. I just mentioned this particular column as my changing attribute. So anytime it is changing, I will not keep any log of this particular updation. Now let's just change this particular any of this column, I'll change it. Let's see what is happening. See, I do have Slovakia is a customer name. What I'll do, I'll say change it to Panama. The country is Panama. State is IN, and city is say Torrance. The city is something else. Say okay. So this record has been updated. This particular 3 records has been updated. This is not a changing attribute. I have not mentioned this as a changing attribute. I just mentioned this as a historical attribute. So if there will be any changes in the customer's demography, it will keep track of the past record along with adding the updated record. So let us run this one again. So how many record inserted to database? You can see here. In the last load, it's shown that 40 records has been selected, but 0 record has been inserted because they found each record are unique as compared to the source. However, it find only one record is newly updated, and this is not a changing attribute, it is a historical attribute. So in that case, historical data will be maintained in addition to that existing column. So just stop it and let's see. It is very interesting. So let's run it once again, and you see against Amit Enterprise there are 2 records has been inserted. Amit Enterprise was there. What was the last record? Slovakia, Maine and Salem, the city. And this is Amit Enterprise is Panama, country is this, and state is this. This is not updated, I need to check. So this particular column is being active. Now these are same record, however one is the active record, this is the past record. So why not it is being updated? Let us just check. This is called the slowly changing dimension.